Hey everybody, Ryan here. Alright, gonna do the Dallas Stars season preview for today. I haven't seen their new reverse jersey, so I'm not sure what symbol they're going back to. So we'll see how that one looks. I can't remember, I'd have to look it up. Let's see. So they didn't add much. I mean, they made the finals last year. They have quite a few young players who will probably be better this year than last year, and maybe not hurt this year compared to the finals. They had a lot of injuries at that point. They have Mark Pysyk on a 1-year, $750,000 deal. I mean, nothing huge. I mean, a solid 7th, 8th defender, so you can have him there. Not bad, but they lost Martin Hansel to retirement. Not a huge loss because I don't think he's played more than like 20 games in the last 2 seasons due to back injuries. So not a huge loss there. I mean, if anything, it's a good thing because his money is off the salary cap now. Hooray! Then you have Matthias Janmark, who I think is probably their biggest loss out of the bunch. He went to Chicago, as we previously saw with the Chicago preview yesterday. There's also Gavin Bayreuther. I'm not sure how to say it. He went to Columbus, as we also saw yesterday. Roman Polak went to Europe. He didn't play in the playoffs at all last year. He left them before then, opted out. But his contract was ending, so, oh well. He was like a plug-in 7-6 defender for him last year. I think it was him and Sekera were switching out, so it wasn't a huge loss. Corey Perry to Montreal, he had a great playoff for him, so I'm surprised they didn't try and bring him back on like a cheap deal, but he just today, 28th, he signed with Montreal, so he's going over there. This is who they re-signed. They re-signed Rupe Hintz, 3-year, $3.15 million per season. I think that's a solid deal for him as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, he had a great playoffs 2 years ago. Then the playoffs last year, he was hurt pretty much the whole time, and I think he was playing through an injury the whole time, so he wasn't as effective. So hopefully he can stay healthy. Julius Honka, 1 year, $700,000. Didn't play all last year for them. Played over, I believe, in Finland. But he held out, and so he held out for a 1 year, $700,000 deal. Good holdout. Dennis Garyanov, honestly, was a huge surprise because I had never even heard of the guy until he started scoring for him last year. And if he could keep that development going, he could easily probably score 30 goals this year. 30, I don't want to say 40, but you never know if he keeps that going. And if that's the case, 2 years, $2.55 million, that's not that bad. That's a pretty good deal for someone that could bring you 30 goals, especially with second out for most of the season, if not all of it. They also brought back Rak Faksa, 5-year, $3.25 million per. I think it's a solid deal for what Faksa can bring. He was hurt the majority of the playoffs last year. He definitely didn't play in the finals, which I think they were really missing him in the finals. I think it may have been a little bit different story in the finals if him and Rupe Hintz had been healthy. Then you got Joel Lesperance, I believe I say it. 2 years, $725,000 per. Anton Khudobin, their star goalie of the playoffs last year. 3-year, $3.33 million per season. So he's come back on a bigger deal, but still pretty solid, cheap deal if he can keep providing what he did last season. And also Andrei Sekera they brought back for 2 years, $1.5 million per. So a little bit of a pay raise from what he made last year because I think he made minimum last year, but still a pay raise, and he actually looked fairly solid for him last year, especially in the playoffs. So this is where their cap sits. Projected cap hit 81.2. So they got $257,000 in space. They have literally no cap space. But if I remember correctly, Tyler Seguin is supposed to be out for at least the beginning of the season, so long-term injury, that could free up $9.8 million right there. Jamie Benn, $9.5 million. Even though they made the finals, honestly, he did not play at a $9.5 million contract level last year. Or honestly, probably the year before. But if him and Sagan can actually stay healthy and play well together, they can be really good, but that's the thing. Then, of course, you got Radulov, who plays with him, who's also a fairly good player. Pavelski, who everybody was ragging on this team for how they played all year. Pavelski had like 16 goals, 16 assists. A lot of their veterans didn't have great years. And just as I thought when they signed all these guys, they were amazing when it came playoff time because they were built for the playoffs. I mean, they just got to sneak into the playoffs and then they are going to run with it. I don't know if they'll be able to do that again because the people aren't going to be surprised by it, but they definitely did it last year. So I think Pavelski had almost as many goals in the playoffs as he did in the regular season. So after this year, they have Cogliano coming off the books. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded for like a 7th round or 6th round pick. Be like, here you go, take his money. We'll be happy. Blake Como, UFA after this year, probably going to go to, I mean, between those two, 33, 34, I doubt they're going to re-sign him. If they do, it'll be for less than what they're making now. Justin Dowling, $750,000 UFA this next season. Jason Dickinson, RFA with arbitration next year. And Joel Kivaranta is RFA after this year. And Dickinson, if he keeps on developing the way he is, he's probably going to make more than that. So, let's see how that goes. I mean, they got a lot of big contracts. And their biggest paid defender is not too bad, $5.8 million. That's not bad at all, honestly. Klingberg, they got 2 more years of that cheap deal, then he's going to want more. Steven Johns, UFA after this year. Jamie Alexiak, UFA after this year. Honestly, I thought Alexiak was just like a 5th, 6th defender. Then I saw him in the playoffs last year. Holy cow, he played his head off last year. He was amazing in the playoffs last year for him. He may get bigger money, but it also will depend on how he does this year. Because he's now shown a lot more, so it's like, now the expectations may be higher. Miro Heiskanen, they're going to be paying money for him after this season. Big time money. He is going to be making more than Esa Lindell, I can tell you that much. Mark Pysyk, UFA, Taylor Fedun, RFA, UFA, sorry. Julius Honka, RFA with arbitration after this year. They got Bishop and Khudobin. And at this point, they have a great duo. They probably will stick with them this year, but after this year, in order to make room for Heiskanen's deal and try and keep other people like Alexiak, they got to trade one of those two. Probably Ben Bishop of the two, as long as Khudobin keeps playing the way he did. Well, the good news is the $450,000 that they're paying for Valery Nichushkin's contract will be gone after this year. So, $450,000 saved after this year. And then non-roster forwards, you got Rhett Gardner, Adam Mashirin, and Nicholas Kamano, all RFAs. You got Tanner Caro, the UFA. I mean, I don't see any big name prospects, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that you aren't going to have some of these guys develop into them. We'll see how they develop, of course. On the defensive side, you got Joseph Ciccone, Jared Rosberg, Benjamin Gleason, all RFAs, and then Joel Hanley, who has gotten into a few games here and there for them, UFA. Thomas Harley is supposed to be one of their better prospects, if I remember correctly, so he might get a shot, who knows. But if he's still junior eligible, they may just send him back too. Then you got these guys down here. Jake Odinger got into quite a few games last year, especially, I think he got into a few playoff games even. But Colton Point and Landon Bowe are both RFAs after this year. Alright, their 2020 draft. Number 30, they picked Maverick Bork. Number 123, Antonio Stranges, which could be a steal at that point because he fell a lot, if I remember correctly. I think he was supposed to be a 2nd rounder and he fell down. I want to say 123 is probably about late 3rd, early 4th. So he's one of those dropping ones, but this draft class was supposed to be amazingly good, so it's not surprising at the same time. Daniel Lungman, I think is how you say it, or Lungman. 154, 162, Yevgeny Oksenchuk. And then you got number 185, Remy Poirier. They have all their draft picks, no extras, no lost ones, so that doesn't hurt them at all. So they're set for the next 3 years. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably make trades and that, but we'll have to see what comes of it. Because I think their division, they're going to be one of the better teams, so we'll see. All right, here's how the lines look. Oh, they had that. Oh, that's right, because Seguin's injured. So Seguin and Bishop are injured. I don't know how long-term Bishop's is, but they haven't marked in injuries here, in which case that frees up like 13 million. No, actually, between those two, like 14, almost $15 million. So that doesn't hurt him. And I mean, Jake Oettinger gives him a chance to get into some games. Not as tall as Bishop, 6'4" to 6'7", but still closer in weight. Alright, defense, you got Esa Lindell and John Kleinberg. They were the best duo in the playoffs. Alexiak and Heiskanen, I'm sorry. Those two were just amazing in the playoffs. And then you got Sekera and Johns. I mean, Johns played a few games. I think he played like a couple games at the end of the year and a few playoff games before he got another concussion. So we'll see if he actually truly plays. But he's there. Let's see. Scratches, they got Mark Pysyk, like I said, their 7th guy. You can even see Haley pop into a few games if Johns doesn't look ready to go. Alright, forwards, you got Ben Pavelski and Radulov. That should be a solid line, I'm sure. I mean, they're all getting up there now, but you just got to sneak in, and their experience will help them out significantly. Second line, you got Joel Kiviranta, Radek Faksa, and Dennis Gurianov. That could be a good line. I don't know. We'll see. Cogliano, Rupe Hintz, and Blake Como for the third line. That could be a solid line. Especially Jason Dickinson isn't like on the wing up here instead of Cogliano. Justin Dowling, Jason Dickinson, and Nicholas Camano. As the main forwards, the fourth line. And scratches, it looks like they're saying Jason Robertson and Ty Dellandrea. All right. Now, taxi squad for them, you got Joel Lesbrance, Joel Hanley. That's the one I believe may possibly sneak in the game. Same with Taylor Fedun. Because I think Fedun played in the playoffs last year, and he wasn't too bad in the games he played. Frederick Karlstrom is one of their top prospects right now. Julius Honka, I don't see him making many games after what he did last year, sitting out the whole year. We'll see. What is it, Harley? Yeah, Joel Hanley could still get in some games. Thomas Harley, I believe, is their top prospect. Maverick Bork is a top prospect. I don't think he's making a team this year. I'd be surprised, but crazy things have happened, and it's been a crazy year, so what the hell, right? Top prospects. Joel Kiviranta had 1 point in 11 NHL games last year and 23 points in 48 AHL games. Nick Camano, 2 points in 12 NHL games and 23 points in 36 AHL games. So those two are, if you look at this list, 3 of the 5 have already played in games in the NHL. So I really don't see a reason why they wouldn't get more chances this year with less guys on the team because they had lost a lot more in that game. Thomas Harley, defensive prospect, 57 points in 59 OHL games. Ty Dellandrea, 70 points in 47 OHL games. Joel Lesbrance, 1 point in 3 NHL games and 40 points in 58 AHL games. So I think most of these guys may get a shot this year at some point or another because their prospects are further along than other teams. So chances are they will. And those ones were the NHL.com top 5 that they did in like December. So I'm not sure why they don't have some of these guys on there. Oettinger SC because he played quite a few games I think last year because of Bishop's injuries. But Oettinger was listed on there when I saw Jason Robertson, Maverick Bork, and Frederick Karlstrom. So you can see any of those 4, if not maybe a couple of them this year. Alright, so Dallas' outlook. I see them as a middle-range team. I can see them finishing middle to top of their division just because I think they're going to do basically the same type of thing. They're going to play mediocre during the season, and then they're going to have an outburst in the playoffs because of all that veteran experience that just really helps you in the playoffs. Because I can see them out of their division. I can see Tampa being first. I see it hard not seeing Tampa being first, even with their injuries. I see it hard not seeing them being first. But I mean, Dallas could technically finish as high as first if those injuries do impact Tampa more than we all realize. But I can also see them being as low as fourth or fifth, because I mean, Columbus could sneak past them, and even Nashville technically could. But I don't see those two passing them. So that's where I see Dallas. I think it'll still be a good year in the playoffs. You just never know with these veteran teams. I mean, some years it looks like the young kids are the ones who are going to dominate everything. Then next year, the veterans just look like they have all the energy and all the abilities. So we'll see. I think it'll be a decent year for Dallas again. I don't know if they can make the finals again, but I think they'll make another run in the playoffs, honestly. So good luck to Dallas and all their fans. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for watching and subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop a new video. And make sure to like, share, comment. Just keep it civil. And I will see you all next time. Have a good day, everybody.